but due to technical issues, we had to wait it out. Anyway, what started out as one incident has now escalated to a trend, so to speak. We have been bombarded on social media or everywhere with women setting themselves free on the streets of Nairobi by holding placards to advertise themselves for potential husbands. A trend that is, very keeping us wondering what is going on in this society. Have relationships deteriorated to this level? Anyway, before we delve into the matter, let me introduce my panelists. On my far right, we have poet and writer Adiporo Sida, welcome. Yeah. And then we have Christine and Kelvin. Anyway, on that note, when I was just feeling happy with myself, with this new naturalista style, watu wameanza kuniambia nimeingia business community mimi sasa pia mimi. Kwani business community na fanana aje? Remember those guys that came out on TV? Yeah. Anyway, so let's start it. It started out with Nyambura, who came out with a full wedding gown together, holding the hand of her daughter, her 9-year-old daughter, requesting, for her husband. What is going on? What's your take on this?
Okay, first for me, I think it's a non-issue in my opinion. It's absolutely a non-issue because from where I stand, I think that women have the right to self-autonomy. They have the right to do whatever they want to do with themselves as long as they do it within certain defined roles. And if we start, especially that comes from men, if we start behaving like we are the moral prefects in this society, then we are basically refusing to move in tandem with the changing times. Yeah, but then if you go back to the real issue, because I think looking at the 3-4 cases of women carrying placards and advertising their singlehood, if you just concentrate and concentrate yourself to the 4-5 instances, then you're missing the picture. And again, if you look at it just in terms of women, because we also have men. I mean, last year there was a case of a man who apparently was seen at a bus stop,
yes,
wearing shorts with the words "toolbox for hire."
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, no one talked about it. But if it's about a woman or women going out there carrying babies and asking for, looking for a husband, it becomes an issue. There's a problem with our social structures. And I think the main problem that we have currently, and I would say it's not just an African problem, it's beyond Africa, is the problem of patriarchal culture that we have, or patriarchal philosophy that we've always had, that the man is in charge of everything. He defines what is right and what is wrong. Okay.
Kevin, what do you have to say about this? What do you think is going on? We have moved from the days, and let me pose this question. How different is this from, these dating sites, people putting themselves, exposing themselves out there?
Yeah, actually that was going to be my point. I think it's the same thing, honestly. It's the same thing as someone going on Tinder or all these other dating sites to look for a suitable mate. They're just using placards down the streets. I mean, I think in today's day and age, I don't know, I think maybe it's harder to find someone to be with, and that's why we have all these different dating sites and all these platforms where we find partners. So basically doing this on the street, that's what I guess works for them. So I don't think it is really green parent and pussy parent to doing that.
Yes. I think I would agree with that really it's an issue, but we have a tendency to blow things out of proportion on social media. She's basically putting effort to whatever she wants. That what she wants is marriage, and whatever means you use to achieve in the end, but at the end always just find the means. It's like going to Facebook or whatever other site, just it's just that she used a placard or a video or whatever. I could use Facebook or those dating sites.
It's like, even I don't know if this still happens, but no. We used to have those small, where someone says looking for a 35-year-old male, and you specify exactly what you want. So she's just doing the same thing. She wants a white man, like this, the recent case. Just specifying what you want. It's the same thing as what used to happen back in the day. It's just that now this is more open.
People are saying maybe this is just too extreme. Maybe, you know, putting your phone number out there, you're exposing yourself to whoever is going to, you know, want to answer to it. You might be attracting, I don't know, lunatics, you know, any dog.
Is it extreme if I put my number on Facebook or on a dating site saying I'm specifying what I want or the person that I want? It's the same thing. It's just that people picked her advertisement, and then they now owned it and they started, you know, making fun out of it.
Yes.
But with her, she had objectives. And what she's chasing after is not people's attention. She's not chasing people who she's not interested in. She has specified exactly what she wants and what she has.
I would like to look at it a bit differently. I mean, I agree with our friend over here who was saying that that physical tracker is actually the same as, more or less the same thing as what the other person does on Tinder or dating sites or Facebook. It's basically some sort of digital tracker. Because when you go to Tinder or Facebook, they also actually state the kind of men they're looking for. And they say what they have. Some are also very specific. I have 2 children. I'm single. Have had for a long time. There's a breakdown in these structures, and as a result, then there is a gap between these people who are single, who are looking for partners. And the cause of this, in my opinion, I could actually be wrong, is the existing economic realities. The economic realities actually have made us who are single men and single women or single parents to look at marriage in terms of an economic enterprise.
Yes.
And again, you can trace it back to the patriarchal society in which we live. The man has always been treated, or rather he has treated himself as the provider.
Yes.
So what is wrong with a woman coming out and saying, I'm looking for a husband, I have 2 children, or I'm single, I want a man who is financially secure, etc., etc. That is exactly what the society has made the woman to become, which is unfortunate, especially in this world of globalization. Now, I mean, you can't talk about territories anymore because Facebook can take you to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia and back in a minute. So you can engage anyone you want across board. And then you see the trends. Feminism. I am not a feminist, but I believe in certain things that feminists say. For instance, feminism holds that women and men should be treated equally. So the moment you treat women and men equally, it means that you are actually providing an equal platform for both the boy child and the girl child. So that by the time they are done with school, that woman will not be seen to be retreating to the kitchen, that is our office.
Yes.
Okay, so we have to look at this thing holistically. He mentioned something about ends justifying means. Unfortunately, that is the society we live in today.
Yes.
Because young men believe that if you want to get to where you want to get to, you do not have to, the means does not matter.
Yes.
What matters is the end justifying the means.
Yes.
And that is, if you look at the flyover, your flyovers across, or rather, you know, all these roads, especially the ones leaving town, we are supposed to use those flyovers to cross the road because it is safer. It is longer, slightly tedious, but when you get there, what do? You just cross the road.
Yes.
Why? Because it's hectic. That flyover mentality, that no sweat mentality, because we see it in our politicians, we see it in our seniors. That's why you have young women running looking for sponsors, because she wants money but she doesn't want to work hard. You see young men running looking for cougars. We have Ben 10s now. Yes. They don't want to work hard. So it's not about women. It's about young men and young women.
Yes.
It's a social problem that has to be sorted out.
Yes.
And you mentioned something. I mean, as a woman, is it wrong if, for example, you're out there and you present yourself to a man, you know, like, is it wrong for a woman to go after a man? Because
you know, we've been brought up to think, oh, the man always has to chase after you, But then here we are, women, you know, we're taking the bull by turns. Is it wrong for a woman to...
before you add to it, Kevin, I want to tell our viewers that you can comment in on the conversation that we are having today. But I'm not saying it's a bad thing for women to go for what they want.
Yeah.
Is the way they are choosing to go for what they want? Is it the way for you to actually, when you want to look for a spouse or anything, someone to have a relationship with?
Which way?
Yeah, maybe like holding a placard saying I'm aged, you know, I'm age 30, I'm single with 3 kids, and I want.
I think that's just a way to do it. As in, I don't know. Maybe
Sylvania, you know. We have to decide whether we want to talk about these women who carry, these 5 or 6 women and men who carry placards, whichever way they want to, or we want to talk about the issue that is dating and relationships and marriage. You know, those women who carry placards, they know where to go. They don't carry placards and go to Kasarani football pitch and carry it to an imaginary crowd. They go to where there are crowds. They are basically seeking attention. In my opinion, that is comedy. Let's be real.
So you don't think they're being forced for real?
No, I don't think that if they're serious, then there is something wrong somewhere. But in my opinion, I think it is comedy. What we need to be talking about is the placard issue is a bigger issue. We have Tinder, we have Facebook, we have other dating sites. People believe in these things, and we have people who have actually gotten married because they met on Facebook or they met on Tinder, etc. And I'm saying, let us not dismiss it, because no one has the right to ascribe moral judgment on what I do. As long as I do not step on your toes, I do not infringe on your rights, I have the right to self-autonomy. I can decide what to do with myself. I know men who have met women in bars for the first time. They had a one-night stand. The following day or whatever, something started growing out of it, and they're living a happy life together. I know men and women who met in church. They got married. Some sort of intimacy at some point, so you can know the colors that some people like.
Know if they love to eat. No.
All those things will come. Our initial meeting, it might have been, as you're saying, in the bar, it might have been in church, it might have been down the street, it might have been in the supermarket. The first initial meeting, I don't think really, if I'm out of the street, okay, I wouldn't do it. But if she's bringing it and that's how she met, I don't think that would stop all this stuff that you getting to know me and doesn't mean that the first guy who comes along, she's gonna marry him. I believe she's still gonna go through the process of getting to know this guy. And all these other things of getting to know someone, dating, it's just a way of finding someone.
So they're like accelerating the process for themselves.
Accelerating the process, it's just the way.
Not necessarily accelerating the process, but you know, there is the ideal and there is the real. That ideally, suppose maybe when I get to 25 or 27, I should be dating someone. By the time I get to 28, I should maybe be married, and then I'm 30, and I should be having 1 or 2 kids.
Yes.
But when now reality dawns, and so I'm 30, and I'm not even dating. Maybe I've been in several situations. So I now have to really think out, what do I really want? At my age, I'm not the people that think if I'm a lady. As a 3-year-old,
yes,
is obviously more, growing than I am.
So you say, it depends.
It might depend. Now, that is the challenge. So, most people will try to do
There's nothing wrong, in my view, there's nothing wrong with putting that extra effort to meet a potential suitor. It doesn't mean that if I'm on Tinder, the first person who we have a connection with, it means we're going to get married. Have all these other traditional ways of dating. We still get to know each other. I think it's the same way if someone, let's say, you know, Sylvania, there's a guy, I give you his number. You guys start talking. It's up to you to establish that connection after that.
Yes.
So it's the same thing in my view.
Could this be the reason why maybe, you know, in this time and generation where relationships are, you know, have been christened to be complicated? That's what a lot of guys want other people to believe. Giving rise to, you know, situationships and friends with benefits that are making people not want, you know, to commit maybe by marrying the other person because they are getting all this without marriage in the pledge.
I think. No. Okay, what Adipo said before he says something, there is something he said about, you know, people now taking relationships to be an enterprise.
Yes.
So the generation we are living in take relationships to be enterprises. That the moment I get hooked up to that guy or that chick, I'm going to, you know, get something out of it. Yeah. Not necessarily for the traditional way that it's supposed to happen, but then there are some hidden motives that come with it. And both parties, both men and women, are scared of that. Because what if I don't get this in that relationship? Then what happens? So I better stick with these friends with benefit for now. Then I'll figure out something as we progress.
As time, but
yes.
You know, for women, they do not have a lot of time like you men, like you say. You
but
know,
Sylvania, you cannot speak for all women. You cannot speak for all women.
Okay, I'm not speaking for all
exactly.
women, but as you said earlier, according to the society, there's a certain age that for women something is required out of you. You understand? Whether you get married, that's okay. When you go to visit in the village, you know, when are you getting married? You know, such questions pop up because it is expected now. It is expected. So it's okay for you to enjoy these friends with benefits and situationships because time for men is different than for women. And if you had something to say.
Yeah, in regard to, you see, I've realized that there's a trend, especially all cases of women who are carrying placards and looking for husbands out there.
Yeah.
In nearly all cases, if not all, actually these women have children. And that worries me. It worries me because to a garden somewhere where there are people and she's advertising herself. That man who's responsible for the birth of those children, he is nowhere to be seen. And basically it means, in a very honest and candid way, he is an irresponsible man. It basically just tells us the kind of society in which we live. I talked about feminism and how women have started to think aggressively about getting their rightful place in society.
Yes.
Unfortunately, times are changing.
Yes.
Men are growing more lazy and more irresponsible,
Yes.
while women are becoming more enlightened.
It's like roles are being changed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Women are becoming more enlightened. They are realizing that actually I can become what I want. I have the freedom to do what I want. Now, the moment men start thinking right, then you'll have fewer cases of women with children walking looking for whether it's placards or whether it's dating or dating sites or whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is we have so many women out there
Yes.
who are single parents, they have children, the men are nowhere, they are not providing. Why? Yet some of them are actually working.
Yes.
It means there's a problem, there's a breakdown in our moral institutions. And when you talk about moral institutions, you have to go back to our childhood formation because we have to talk about family as a basic unit in the society. We have to talk about education, religion, and community as an entity on its own. In one way or another, we must have benefited at least from one of those societies, of those institutions. So the problem is not the women, in my opinion. And I'm not talking about the women who carry placards. I'm not talking about the women who carry placards.
Yes.
I'm talking about single parents, those women who have to struggle to provide for their children. Yes, marriage has become an economic enterprise. And it happens both ways. I mean, you have Ben 10s. There are a number of them in the city.
Yes.
Town nowadays, you can see a young man driving a big car, but it's apparently bought for him by some mama somewhere, or a young girl driving a big car. There's a sponsor somewhere.
Yes.
The problem is we do not understand what marriage entirely is supposed to be. Marriage is not an economic enterprise. Marriage was actually, and sex were meant to be a spiritual connection. This has nothing to do with religion, but that metaphysical idea of compatibility.
Yes.
Okay, that there is something that brings you together, not just material conditions of each one of you or one of you.
Kevin, you look like a chimney. You're ready to blast or something. Especially when Adifo was standing in for women here.
Okay, to some extent, Adifo is right.
Yeah.
Our society has become irresponsible, but we cannot entirely, now blame the men for what is happening in our society, because I'm sure the results, that is the children, they are as a result of give and take. It is an agreement between two parties. That when we agree that this is what we are going to do, we are both of us. So, but men take off. So, do we blame the men or do we blame the society that raised them? Because we have so many ladies who also, or equally, don't believe in the institution of marriage.
For me, I believe I blame the man, because you are told when you reach 18, you are of sane mind to make a choice. And when you decide to leave a woman to raise children on their own, that's not right. You cannot say you are blaming the society.
That man was raised somewhere.
Where?
He did not come from the street. So it's all about, we have to look deeper. Who has really failed? Is it the man or is it the people who raised him?
And that's what we are saying. Let us not think like that. If you want to solve, let's assume it is a problem.
Yes.
If you want to solve the problem, you dig down to the roots.
Yeah, you don't cut.
Yeah.
You dig down to the roots. You do not climb to the roof of the problem. You dig down to the roots, understand what is actually happening. And that is why if we start saying, let us now blame the men, let us now blame the women, we are missing it. Let us go back to our social structures.
Okay.
Let us understand why now I do not believe in meeting a woman and engaging her for months or perhaps even years before we decide that now we're getting married. We are too, by the way, we are too patient. There's a man who once said, it's not me. Because I don't have the name of the man, I would say a little bad once said that when a man meets a woman, when a woman meets a man, she sees the future. But when a man meets a woman, he sees tonight. That tells you exactly.
Wow.
That tells you exactly.
Kevin, you're smiling
And I
like
think it must have come from a woman or a feminist. But it's in a way it actually tells you the way our society is structured. The way the psychology of a man is different from the psychology of a woman. That is why when a man gives birth with a woman, I think even if they're not able to live together, he should be able to provide.
Yes.
Okay. And this providing does not mean that it takes the entire burden to himself. Now we also have laws that guide us in terms of issues of separation or divorce, so that we know what the man does and what the woman does. So the man should not make the woman be a victim, and the woman also should try not to make the man look like he's a culprit. Yes. There has to be, this give and take thing only works insofar as relationships are concerned. But you cannot introduce give and take when it comes to a child that is a product of both of you. Okay. You have to honor both of you.
Christine, what do you have to say before we watch a video?
Okay, what I'm wondering is, we're saying let's not play the blame game. Let's not say it's the parents who are at fault, it's the man who's at fault. At this point where we are now, what can be done to remedy the situation and have that switch in men's minds that, you have a child, because there's so many men, today people say it's almost impossible to meet, let's say, a 30-year-old plus or 29 plus who doesn't have a child. There are so many fathers who are walking around who have kids, and they're living their lives normally. They don't care about
yes.
But they're not married.
Yeah, they're not married. And when you meet this gentleman, you don't know he's a father. Yet his wife, his baby mama somewhere is struggling. She has the kids. So I'm just wondering, what can be done to you men to make you realize, honestly, that
Yes.
you need to take responsibility? It's, I mean, if we say we're not going to play blame game, then what? Would we just accept
You know,
the
but
situation
that
as
is
is?
blanket condemnation. You know, you
So do we
condemn
accept
the whole,
that
you know,
this is the reality and we just move on with it?
No.
There are those few elements who will run away. But that does not justify for us now to blame the whole, you know,
Men
race of
generation.
men that they are irresponsible.
True, but I'm saying
There are
the cases of
responsible men
these
out there.
men,
As so many.
there are so many
Yes.
that you're almost, honest, there's
What she's saying is very
Yes.
true. by the way. There are many men who do not take care of their
Their
children.
children.
You also have women, many women who go out just to get babies.
What?
Hey.
It is also true, isn't
There
it?
are also women who don't take care of them.
And there are also women who do not take care of.
Can't
children.
believe I'm hearing
This
this.
thing, no, it's true. You know what? And this thing has nothing to do with whether you're a man or woman. As I said,
It's about
it is
responsible
the
parents.
social structure. There is something that is awfully wrong with our society and how we look
And
at
that's
things.
exactly what I'm asking. So, what next, if there was to be a next?
I
I
had
think-
mentioned earlier
Yeah.
the issue of institutions of morality. When you're growing up, for instance, your father tells you that you should not steal, but you hardly believe him. Sometimes you sneak in and steal sugar and lick it, then you are caught. Then the following day you go to church, and the pastor says, one of the commandments of the Lord is, thou shalt not steal. Now, you see, you start believing. When you go to school, the teacher says stealing is
It's bad.
So you see, that is how, and then outside of your extended family, you meet people, your villagers, who also tell you that that boy is a bad boy because he steals. So you, at some point, you realize that stealing is bad. Basically, that is how these institutions of morality work. They're supposed to instill morality at that tender age. There's a problem, because if you go to schools, for instance, now, primary schools, secondary schools, sex has become casual. Okay, there's a time there were even members of parliament who were attempting to pass a bill
Yes,
to allow colored
consensualize, yeah.
condoms and stuff
Yes.
like that to teenagers.
Teenagers.
You see, that tells you that there's something wrong somewhere. We have to blame blame it on poor parenting, our education system. There's a time when I went to school, back when I was going to school, or rather when I was in school, there was a subject, social education and ethics. I think it fizzled out at some point. Reasons, I don't know. Religion, whether it's church or whatever, is now something else. It is an enterprise where people go make money, and you also see what pastors do. So there's nothing you can learn from them. They preach wine, they
And drink
sorry,
water.
they preach water, they drink chana or wine, something like that. So we have to go back and sort it out from our social foundations, the foundations of morality.
Yeah,
But-
before you play the video,
Kevin.
people are saying very, very good points. Because, you know, we are now playing the blaming game that the men have failed, the women have failed. But the truth is that it's the parents who have failed, it's the society who have failed. Because the moment we allowed our children to be raised by the watchers in the house,
Yeah.
then TV, then came YouTube and Facebook and all these social medias. There are so many of them now. You know, now what they are learning out there compared to what maybe our parents were learning in the traditional, you know, society setup. So it's very different. The man was taught his role, the lady was taught on how she should be, you know, a woman, a responsible woman. But that, you know, we replaced that so quickly with modernity that we want our children educated, you know, we want our children to be modern. So we now want to pretend that we are a modern society, but then there is that caveman that lives in us, because we really don't move.
You had to bring this up.
We did not move out of the cave. What we did is modernize the caves, paint them, and maybe
But
add
it is
some
still a cave
more-
in a way, you see?
We are still living in caves.
I don't know what you
That
guys.
is the
I will not agree with whatever you guys are talking
It is
about right
high time we
now.
accepted that the life that we are living in a cave that we have improved and, you know, introduced a few items here, computers, phones, painted, added a few windows into the caves, but our lives should remain as were before.
I think the question that should be asked from all these, you know, placard ladies and all is, what is wrong with the men? Because here are women who want to get married and settle down, but they cannot get this man. What is wrong with them? I mean, before you answer that, Adipo, let's watch this video, and which this lady, I think she's Nigerian from her accent, has really brought this thing out.
Don't do that. Please. Why are men so complicated and confusing? If you try to please them, you are cheap. If you love them, oh, you are too emotional. If you don't, you are getting hard and proud. If you try to dress sexy, oh, you are attracting other men. If you don't, you are too local. If you try to cook and wash their clothes, you are desperate to get married. If you don't, oh, you are not a wife material. If you demand money from them, you are materialistic and a gold digger. If you don't too, you are a whore getting it from somewhere else. If you get pregnant for them, you are trapping them. If you don't, my sister, you have damaged your womb. If you are beautiful, you can't have one man. If you are ugly too, you are not presentable. If they meet you at church, you are krife. If they meet you at the club, you are ashawo. So what do you want us to do? Men, tell us, if we give you guys small attention, you say we are banging you. If we don't too, oh, we are having another man. If we try to get small attention from you guys, oh, we are nagging women. If we don't too, we are getting attention from someone else. My dear men, what do you want us to do? Just tell me. We are tired. We are tired of all the questions. And do this and don't do this and do that and don't do that. Please. Why are men so complicated and confusing? If you try to please them, you are cheap. If you love them...
Oh, man, oh, what do you want from us?
There is a serious problem with Nigerian men. If that is the kind of
Kenyan woman and I agree. What do you want?
That is the kind of torture. If that's the kind of torture that they take their women through.
Men, no, tell us.
I think it is time Nigerian women.
Did you hear what she said?
Yes.
If we give you attention, we are nagging.
Yeah.
Okay. If we don't, we are giving it to someone else.
Okay. If we are pretty, we will with someone else.
If you are pretty, you can't have one man.
Oh, yes.
Can I speak for the
We're
men?
not
You know, that is a heap of assumptions that have been, piled together to form a video. Of course, there is somewhere you draw the line between, giving attention and nagging, being pretty and actually cheating. She should really get to understand the difference between the two. But she cannot, now say that, oh, men, if we want kids, of course, men equally want kids. What are you talking about? So those are just a heap of assumptions. Or the Nigerian men. This is a discussion that they need to have.
It is men in general. Adip,
So
what do you have to say?
Are you saying that
Yes.
you've also had that kind of experience with Kenyan men when you're growing up and you were...
Just be honest. We are not judging you. We are not judging you.
We don't judge you, by the way. We just say, is that the case as well? So that we can now pick it up and discuss this matter seriously.
This is not an intervention or something. What are you trying to say? All I'm saying is that a lot of women out here can
identify.
Yes.
With that.
Honestly speaking, because we discussed this, women, oh gosh, I don't even know. It doesn't have to have happened to us personally.
Yes.
But if you talk to women, honestly, that is a shared common. We talk about Nigerian men.
Yes.
We feel that it's,
it's general. It's like you do something, it's either too much or you don't do it. Because since time immemorial, it has always been all about women, why we are so complicated. And now this lady has, it's clearly it's men.
I think
I would classify that statement under what we call hasty generalizations. That's what philosophers call it. It does not apply to every single man that you come across, but it could be a general tendency that you find in or you see in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. At least from the men that you have dated. So first, I'm assuming that she's talking about what she has gone through as an individual, but also she could be talking about, she could be representing a reasonable number of women across the world that have a problem with how men understand them. And that explains, last year I saw something on social media. There were 2 books. One book was on men. It was actually, I think, about
Understanding men.
Yeah, understanding men. The other one was on understanding women. The one on understanding men was, I think, 2 or 3 pages. The one on understanding women was a huge voluminous book, but if you open it from page 1 to the last page, it was blank. Basically saying that you can never understand women. But you see, those are stereotypes. On a more serious tone, I think there could be some problem with the section of men, or something that women don't understand about men, or something that men don't understand about women. That is what defines us as men, and that is what defines you as women. Okay, and it therefore needs an individual to take an extra step in the course of your dating, courtship, relationship. If you're not too tired or too impatient to go through that process, you should be able to understand that man you are staying with, so that you know his weaknesses and his strengths. And as well, that man also needs to understand the woman, so that he understands or knows her weaknesses and her strengths.
I think, Adibo, this is coming out from the point of view of a lot of women, you know, since you started dating, you kiss like 1,000 frogs before you get to that prince. And I think she was actually trying to summarize this 1,000 frogs that are so many, and they're the ones who are ready, you know, to get into the relationship with women. And, you know, they don't fit the bill. They usually come short at some time. Why is that?
Okay, which is okay, because the prince should never just be there available. There has to be.
Why can't we just meet?
Yes.
If you want to go to the palace, I mean, you have to pass through
The shrub and swamps and everything.
Everything. Yeah. So that by the time you're getting there, it is not meant for the faint-hearted.
Yes.
So you have to be strong-willed for you to get to the prince.
Yes.
That is basically what perhaps those men are telling that lady. Yeah.
Kevin.
Okay, even without, you know, that hassle, you know, going to find the prince, there is this tendency among women that they actually don't know what they really want.
Oh no, you didn't just go there, Kevin. What?
Let me justify my point.
What?
I'm not trying to say that all women don't know what they want.
Yes.
But a majority of women don't really know what they want in a relationship. That is why they'll meet someone by the roadside, and the next day is like, I'm into this guy, and then we are dating. Then 3 months down the line, they break up. What did you see in this guy that now you can't stand him anymore? You know, it is all about knowing what you really want and going for it, and it's all about principle. If you don't have principles, you will continue kissing those frogs, unless you establish principles that this is what I really want. Then you will never find your prince.
So what do you mean? We come up with you know, the DJ Moore tests and everything.
No. Principles are not tests. Come on, know that I want a tall guy. He should be maybe financially stable, if that is what you want. He should be intelligent. He should be able to challenge me. It's not like I met this guy, you know, the way he was looking. Man, come on, really, looks can deceive. Then you wake up the next morning, then you're like, I really don't want this for the rest of me.
Yes.
So it's all about principle.
Yeah.
Go for what you want, and you know, first know what you want before you go for it.
Guys, I'm going to give you an opportunity, everyone, to give a closing remark on what you think about these ladies who are holding placards to advertise for husbands, and the relationships in general, you know, the kind of 21st relationships we have, 21st century relationship we have right now, and you know, with the old situationships and friends with benefits. I will start with you, Adipo.
Just as I said earlier,
yes,
about placards, I don't think is an issue.
Yes.
Those ladies are trying to grab attention. They succeeded. Now, as to whether they get men, the kind of men they're looking for, that is something that we will learn later. If they go back to the same spot
and carry placards and announce to the world that I finally got the man I was looking for. No, I can't talk about it.
Yes.
But then I said, if you augment that entire thing that is happening about dating and all that, you need to understand that the social structures are broken down. And I'll keep saying that because if the social structures were not broken down, we would be able to see things happening you not need to go to Tinder to get a man. You don't need to go to Facebook to get a man. Now, regarding the issue of marriage, we need to understand that marriage is not a small thing. It is something that changes your life. That is why you'd rather stay until you turn 40 and make the right choice at 41 than make the wrong choice at 22. Because it becomes totally something else the moment you make the wrong choice.
Yes.
And making the wrong choice means you do not take your time to understand this person and know whether there is something beyond wealth, beyond looks, beyond the job he has, beyond these good times, there is something you still have in common. Finally, as a writer and from my perspective as a poet, I usually say that there is always an untold story out there. So let us not be quick to judge these women who carry placards. We can say they are grabbing attention, yes, but let us not say what they're doing is morally right or morally wrong, because we don't have the power to ascribe moral judgments on their actions. But they have a story that they really want to be told. They don't have the courage to tell it, but someone needs to tell that story. So it is our duty as writers, for instance, to sneak into their minds and eavesdrop into their monologue and thoughts and write something out of it so that people can understand them at the end of the day.
Yes.
Christine? Yeah, I think to each his own. If placards is what you think is going to get your husband, do it. If Tinder is the way, for me, honestly, I can't judge or say what's the right or wrong way to go about it. Some people, everyone is different and everyone wants what they want.
So are we seeing you with a placard in
People want to meet their husband in the bar, others want to meet him in church. Everyone is different, so you go run your show, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, you do it.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah, with me, I'll also echo the same sentiments.
Yes.
Really don't let the society dictate what you can and cannot do. If you think that that is the right thing to do, then go for it. But understand that at the end of the day, family or marriage is not about money or the material things, but rather it's about, companionship, communication, commitment, trust, and all those other stuff. So if you get all those in a man that you met through that placard, then go for it.
Yes. Okay, guys, thank you so much for keeping, staying with us throughout the whole live show. But unfortunately, we have come to the end of the show. But the conversation does not end here. You can still continue contributing to this conversation we are having today about this trend that is coming up of women holding placards to advertise for husband. What do you think? Do you think it's desperation? Do you think, as Christine said, do whatever you want to do? Or what Kevin said, don't let the society tell you what to do. Or what Adipo said earlier, understand yourself, understand what you want before doing anything. But from us here in Aten and Extra, I'm Sylvania Ambani. See you next time.